he powers up, and then all this explosion, like all this crazy shit happens, and then out of the rubble, out of the smoke, comes fucking Wolverine. Just
Only one thing that I have to say, and it soundly just bunks your theory. And
no. What's up, Sunday fams? Welcome back to another edition of Watching Sundays. My name is Flip, the Filthy Casual.
And I'm Element, the geek, the nerd.
So, a few things are happening right now, and I am starting to freak out. I am freaking out that this whole Comcast thing is going to ruin all our hopes and dreams of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Fox deal, getting the X-Men, Fantastic Four, all those amazing characters, like bringing them into the world, and this Comcast thing is getting in the way. What is happening? I feel like
so it's not unfounded your fears, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. So for those of you who are living under a rock or don't know about this.
If you're living under a rock.
Yeah, if you're living under a rock and you're watching this, somehow I would like to know how you're doing so. So what's happening is that Disney is trying to acquire Fox Studios and all of its entertainment properties. And at first they were offering, stock options. And of course, being a chance to be like a subsidiary of Disney, you keep the Fox Studios moniker, and everybody still works for Fox Studios, right? And then Comcast is trying to put a ring in there or throw their towel into the stage and just say, we're gonna buy you, but we're gonna offer just straight up cash.
And to me, that sounds like that for me. If like somebody just offered me straight up cash, I'd be like, okay, cool. Where do I sign? Like, let's make the deal.
That is. It is like the first response you get, right? You hear cash, you hear a number, an amount, you're like, okay, we can make this work. But obviously Disney is reevaluating their bid for Fox Studios with stock options and cash. Now here's where things get interesting, is that being a studio or retaining your independence but being under Disney, it's appealing, right? You're able to make your movies still. You have, obviously, you're under the purview of Disney, right? So Kevin Feige is just going to come in and be like, no, this is the way it's going to be. This is how we're going to do things. And then they go on and they make their movies, and they can still make money under Disney. And if, and X-Men has the potential to be a $1 billion player in the box office. So when I weigh, okay, do I want straight up cash, or do I want some cash and the possibility of raking in billions with the X-Men franchise, and then eventually going into Avengers versus X-Men, that's like multi-billion-dollar potential there. And it's a difference between making a lot of money now versus just a steady flow of cash.
God, I hope you're correct on that stuff, because if I was investing in either Comcast or Fox, then I would opt for the long-term cash haul or the long-term investment of making money. So Comcast, you can go screw yourself. You better get out of the way. We want the MCU and the Fox universes to come together.
We want the Fox universe, especially Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
And Fantastic Four to come back. I mean, X-Men has been doing a little bit better, but they're still not getting it right. And so
yeah, and if you were like me, like I enjoyed the X-Men movies distributed by Fox, but I just didn't think they were great,
You know what? I feel like the studios are getting it right with Deadpool, and then when it comes to X-Men, they're just like, let's go back to our.
It's so hard to nail that.
Come on. Deadpool is
the only thing great that came out of that was Hugh Jackman and Wolverine, but even so, like, some of the Wolverine movies were just.
But if we're going on the surface level, right? Deadpool is like straight out of the comics, right? He's a smart ass who breaks the fourth wall and just has fun with his universe. But we get to see him in his costume. We get to see Colossus like accurately. We get to see even Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And the X-Men in that universe wear the classic blue and yellow, yet in the X-Men films they're still so scared of like
That's why we
being-
need them and the MCU, Kevin Feige, under the guidance of Kevin Feige, to do it right. Anyway, folks, we are going to do a theory here on how exactly the X-Men can join the Avengers or just the MCU in general. When do they come in? How do they come in? I have a theory, and I want to know what you think about it. It's kind of convoluted. No, it's not convoluted. I'm just looking at it on the surface, on how I want to see it on the big screen, how it happens.
So are we exploring the theory of how the current universe joins, or how they introduce
where they
X-Men?
where they are right now, and how the X-Men
Oh,
are
so we're
introduced.
going from Dark Phoenix
Yes.
straight into
Well,
yeah.
not even. It doesn't matter what the Fox universe of the X-Men is doing.
Okay, well-
it's got to be timeline, right? So hear me out. So like right now we're
I'm just trying to clarify.
Yeah,
right?
we're in the Infinity
because
War.
there's two different theories here.
Okay.
Like the theory that the current X-Men under Fox can somehow join
No.
the MCU, or
No,
how
no.
they
Brand new X-Men.
how they introduce new X-Men.
I want a brand new X-Men. Introduce a brand new X-Men. Nothing
Okay.
to do with Fox and all their like old slaves.
You can handle that.
Okay,
I've got a Fox one.
Okay, here's mine. Here's my theory. So they're gonna come out with Captain Marvel, right? And her story is supposed to take place in the 1990s, right? And this is way before Avengers with Thanos and the Infinity Stone. So here's my theory. That is how they introduce the X-Men, because she's out there fighting the Shi'ar and all that awesome
Skrull.
stuff. The Skrull Wars. How does Rogue become Rogue?
Yeah, she absorbs Carol Danvers' powers.
Yeah, Rogue absorbs Captain Marvel's powers. And all that stuff kind of happens, intertwines, and then there's this universe in there that they can just introduce that the X-Men has existed the whole time. Between Captain Marvel and the Avengers, Professor X uses Cerebro to erase everyone's memories of mutant existence, right? But the world is in dire need of new superheroes after Thanos did this. And so, after the Captain Marvel movie, she comes in the next Avengers, and when Thanos did this, half of the X-Men are gone, except the most prominent one to come in that new Avengers movie. Like all this shit crazy happens, like Captain Marvel comes in and she's kind of struggling, but she can keep her own, and then like some of the Avengers that were left over are still fighting Thanos, but then he powers up and then all this explosion, like all this crazy shit happens, and then out of the rubble, out of the smoke comes fucking Wolverine. Just the claws come out, and then I don't know, Iron Man goes, "Where have you been?" Well, that doesn't make sense because their minds have been erased, but you know, there's just some kind of shock value there, like at that moment where like, who is this guy? That's how I want it. That's how I want it to like happen. It would be so epic. Just picture it.
So
Berserker mode!
it sounds okay. It has a lot of flair and cinematic.
Flair. That's all I
cinematic
want is
impact.
flair. Yes.
But
I'll be in the seat eating my popcorn, spitting that shit out, like spilling my Coke everywhere.
I do want to let you down softly.
Oh
though.
man.
Okay.
You guys, that sounds amazing.
It sounds amazing. So there's only one thing that I have to say, and it soundly just bunks your theory. And
No.
and that's the Ancient One, who is the one that trained Doctor Strange, but is also hidden in the land of Camartage in the Himalayas.
Okay.
And there's no possible way Professor X would be able to wipe his memory from there.
But he's living in a different dimension.
Exactly,
different,
right?
realm.
But the Sorcerer Supreme is the protector of the earthly realm. And Doctor Strange took over that mantle when the Ancient One in the first movie died. And so, spoiler alert, I don't know if you haven't seen that movie already, but so Doctor Strange becomes the protector of Earth, and there's no possible way we could fit into a narrative that Doctor Strange or the Ancient One or even the people in Camartage are just unaware of the X-Men because of one mutant
that's not really
psychopathic
displacing
power.
my theory. I mean, they could in turn just decide to let it be because it's a balancing of the universe.
Right.
I don't know.
So
I don't
Doctor
know.
Strange has this this life-altering event that's happening with Thanos, and he doesn't want to tell them about the X-Men because
Of course,
he's just
because
deciding
he did the calculations in his mind, and he envisioned the X-Men coming in, and therefore, when the click happens, he had to go as well.
Okay, well, my theory is a little bit more simpler, and it
More
actually
factual.
makes more sense. Really, I mean, it's straight up a result of the Reality Stone.
Okay.
Straight up. So they call Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel comes in. She tries to save the day, and then the Nova Corps sends Adam Warlock to help her, and the new Avengers. With Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and all of the other ones. And they're going to confront Thanos. They're going to take the Infinity Gauntlet, and they're going to snap everything back into place.
Back into normal?
Not into normal, into a place. Back into a place that that has some ancillary effects, so to speak. Basically, and for all you Dragon Ball fans out there, this is what happens. So the new movie...
Super Saiyan mode?
No. The new movie that's coming out in Dragon Ball, if you're following Dragon Ball Super, they have a tournament where they erase all of these universes when they lose the tournament. And the winner of the tournament can wish anything they want. And so the winner in that arc wished for all of the universes that have been erased to be revived, except the wording of his wish. Any universe that have been erased. Not just the ones participating in the tournament. And so the new movie has a universe that was erased that had some pretty evil dudes. And those are the new antagonists in Dragon Ball, because he wished for every universe that has been erased to be revived. And so
this was simple and straight up.
No. I'm just explaining the basis for this, because they could snap reality back into place, but it's a reality that is different from the normal reality.
Okay.
So they bring back everybody that was erased, creating the sequel opportunities and whatnot.
Black Panther.
But they also bring back another timeline that's been erased.
Ooh. Okay.
So, and this is the timeline that Cable, Deadpool has been
living in,
fooling around with, because hey, in Deadpool's universe, where the hell is everybody else?
Is that you?
Yeah, it's me, Deadpool, and I got an offer that you can't refuse. I'm gonna wait out here, okay? It's a big house. It's funny that I only ever see two of you. It's almost like the studio couldn't afford another X-Men.
I know they made a cameo in the movie. But essentially, the only people at the mansion is Negasonic, Colossus, and her new girlfriend, and so you can explain that cameo is just like a fun little cameo with all the X-Men hiding in that room. But essentially, the X-Men are gone in this timeline, in Deadpool's timeline, and Cable and Deadpool, Captain Marvel,
with
Warlock.
the exception of them running that joke in that room.
Yeah, they're gonna snap reality back into place. All of the X-Men are back in the mansion, and they're now part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it works with Deadpool because he always breaks the fourth wall.
Of course.
So he's always, where is everybody? And then when they pop back in, he's like, there you guys are. Where have you been?
Hey, we've got this big alien to fight called Thanos.
Pump the hate brakes, Thanos.
Yeah. And that's just, I mean, it was very wordy, my theory, but essentially they snap reality back into place. The X-Men come back. Deadpool's like, oh my gosh, that's where you guys have been. And now they're back into the universe.
Okay, so how does that come into, what movie do they come and join?
It would probably be Avengers 4.
Avengers 4. Not as exciting as my entry into it, huh?
Well, no, I mean, they'd have to be at least half of that movie.
Right. But they just exist. They just come in and start fighting.
Yeah, I think if the deal goes through and they're gonna have to do some character establishment and development, they'll have their cameos in Captain Marvel, and they'll have their cameos.
Interesting.
They'll have their cameos in Deadpool 3, because it's still a very wobbly timeline, and Deadpool is still he went back to Origins and freaking killed his Deadpool from that movie.
And then you can have Josh Brolin playing Cable as well as Thanos.
Yeah, exactly.
It's perfectly fine. Guys, let us know what you think. we have two theories on how the X-Men
X-Men
universe joins the MCU universe. I think mine is pretty spectacular in my head. It's like super exciting, super fun.
Easily debunked.
But you let us know. Thanks for joining us. I hope you have an amazing weekend and an amazing week. And until next time, we'll see you. Bye.